first viral gaming sensation of 2024 has hit, and it is, well, something that looked like a slam dunk from the offset. The way that it was marketed was simply Pokemon with guns. If Nintendo wasn't smart enough to capitalize on it, leave it to somebody else, and you can go ahead and see the want, the desire from the audience, and the overwhelming amount of financial success that it's producing. But not everybody's on the side of Palworld. There are, of course, the detractors, but I don't want to focus on them quite yet. We'll eventually get around to that, but I've seen a little bit of gameplay of this, and, frankly, how could you not? As you can see right from the headline, 5 million units sold in 3 short days since going early access. Now, I'm old enough to remember when early access, when that was affixed to a game, that was a big old red flag, but I got into PC gaming at the same time in early 2015 when, the top of the Steam charts were just simply dominated with all those early access zombie games, back when DayZ was just an Arma 2 mod. None of that stuff ever really did much for me, and even in checking out some of the gameplay of Palworld outside of the obvious Pokemon inspiration where, okay, you wear down an enemy and then you capture it in a little ball, and I haven't watched that much gameplay, but outside of that, I know that it has a real strong Fortnite aesthetic to it, coupled with another strong crafting mechanic off the back of it. I don't know, and at only $30, I am tempted to check it out for myself, even though these normally, crafting, survival, PvP, PvE type games aren't really my thing, but it does look really interesting. And unlike 2023's viral games, this one's actually got me interested, because I'm not a big Souls guy, so I never really hopped on the Liza P bandwagon, and I wasn't going to be a part of that AstroTurfed boycott movement in regards to Hogwarts Legacy, even though that, having a really cool, solid wizarding game would be great. That game just wasn't it. Sure as hell made a lot of money. Not too dissimilar to what Palworld is doing. Palworld is a hit, and it's easy to see why. The Pokemon like has sold over 5 million copies, and over launch weekend, it had a concurrent user base on Steam north of, 1.5 million users? It's crazy, man, how successful this is at the moment. It'll just be nice to see if this can keep up any kind of momentum into the future, especially this weekend coming up. Seems like everyone on Earth is either talking about or playing Palworld. Indeed, the 3 days since its early access launch on Steam on January 19th and simultaneous release on Game Pass. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, it got released on Microsoft's Game Pass, so you can get it free. Well, theoretically free. It's a part of your subscription on, Series X if you're one of the 6 people that bought one of those. Or over on Microsoft. So yeah, no, that's totally fine. So we're just talking Steam users, the people who bought the digital copy for $30. I know it's got a 10% discount off the top on the Steam store from what I can see right now. That is crazy successful for an unestablished IP and an indie game on top of that. But yeah, while we know the numbers that are on Steam, because we can track the Steam charts, don't even know how many people are taking part of this with Game Pass and the amount of users that are over there. For when it comes to subscription services, there are very few that have actually broke through and have made money and have been a success. Netflix is one, and Game Pass is the other. That's why Microsoft is quite underserved, and they don't really care that some of their biggest releases of 2023, were relative financial flops because Microsoft has more money than God. It's a not quite Tears of the Kingdom numbers. Yeah, but that's, like the 30 some odd entry into the Zelda franchise. Like, come on, man. To have a game from a relatively unknown developer to do that kind of work in a short time. Okay, Palworld, you have our attention. Let's see exactly what it is you have to say. Palworld's announcement trailer released in 2021. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I might have heard about this, but had absolutely no concrete information on this. It started generally enough, with a bright, colorful world populated with cute monsters that bear an almost uncomfortable resemblance to another game featuring cute, catchable creatures. Yeah, you can see kind of some of their designs that are right there, and it's like, we know your obvious inspiration, but it is, there's enough reasonable doubt there where Nintendo can just simply, shake their fist at this and go, well, we don't use guns in our games. And it's like, okay, cool. Catch these cute monsters. Okay, the tone shifts, right? right, to catch these cute monsters that will help you build your home, to shoot these cute monsters and use them as slave labor. Well, you know, if you want to get into some of the darker theories in regards to Pokemon itself, is it really that much better if you shoot them as opposed to beat them with your fist, or have your other partners run around and burn, scold, zap, send them to another corporeal realm? Like, is that any better? Anyways, one of the most memorable moments from the first trailer was a bunch of pals. The monsters are called pals. That's a little bit better than Pokemans. That look startlingly like Spirigatito? I don't know, man. Mournfully manufacturing assault rifles on an assembly line. Is that one of the new Pokemans? I only remember the first 2 generations. Like, I do like me a good Pokemon ROM hack every once in a while, something that's built off of, like, Fire Red or Leaf Green. Like, those are fun as hell. Trust me, I played a fair few of them. But the naming conventions of anything north of, like, you know, Gen 4 start to get really ass. I quickly delved back, tangent for a second, quickly delved back into Pokemon for Gen 7 with XY and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. But, yeah, I thought the Gen 3 remakes on 3DS were pretty good, and X and Y, you know, the games were pretty easy, but they were relatively inoffensive. But then after they started to, you know, spin off of those goofy Island and Mystica or Magical Beasts or something like that they put over to Ultra Beasts. Ultra Beasts is like, nah, this shit's getting a little bit too weird for me. I can deal with the Mega Evolutions, but what the hell are you doing with the rest of this stuff? None of this stuff makes sense. Fast forward 2 years, and while I haven't quite gotten my gun factory up and running yet, I do feel a jolt of excitement when my Lamball helps me make a new tool or weapon. Crafting survival games are not my jam. Hey, I'm in the same boat. I bounce off them like Pikachu. I get it. I know that we're bouncing off a Snorlax bell. I get those references. Yet, for all my relative disinterest in what Palworld's trying to sell me, I'm kind of buying it anyways. I definitely see the vision, and I completely understand how someone who did enjoy the Pokemans or Minecraft games of the world, Palworld, would have lit my brain on fire like a Charizard at a butcher shop. Why would a Charizard beat a butcher shop? You can't get them things to do anything. Did you see how much did you see the big difficulty that Ash had in order to deal with his Charmander the moment that it evolved into a Charmeleon, let alone a Charizard? You can't put that thing to work. When you first load into Palworld, you create your character and then your world. Oh, so it is. Ooh, I'm really interested in this now because I don't like the whole another tangent. Okay, now we're just getting into my video game proclivities. I don't really like online anything. Really, if I want to play a game, I just want it to be a self-contained story that I can go, I don't know, explore the world at my own pace. I don't need to have other people hop into anything like that. I just want a single-player experience, and I thought that this was going to be all interconnected, but if it's going to be your own world, your own character, your boy might be checking this out over the weekend. I'm just saying, man, this looks very interesting. Okay, there's a robust survival guide that only explains how the basic controls work, but also offers tips on what to do first. And like any survival game, the first thing I wound up doing was punching trees and rocks. Get it's like Minecraft. Catching pals is a simple affair, front-loaded with a bunch of busy work. Before you can even think about building your team, you gotta craft the game's version of Pokeballs. But before you can make them, you need a special kind of stone that you gotta pick up off the ground, or mine for rock deposits, and you gotta craft for the workbench to craft a Pokeball. Or I guess, wouldn't it be Palball this time around? After that, catching a pal works like it would in any other game. Weaken it with your weapons, your fists, another pal you've got on your team, and then throw the ball to catch it. And the game will tell you based on how much you've weakened the pal. Yeah, I've actually seen this from some, shout out to Heel versus Babyface Az over there, who's been playing the game like it's his full-time job now. So I caught a little bit, just a few minutes of this. I've been working pretty hard lately, and I saw him catch something, and yeah, it actually looks fairly intuitive the way that you can see the meter. And I can't believe that this game, for the brief amount that I've watched, I haven't seen any glitches or anything like that. But the way that it looks pretty good. Okay, the UI looks pretty solid. The game will tell you, based on how much you've weakened the pal, your likelihood of successfully catching it, which is a nice touch. And make sure to aim your ball precisely, because if you're off by 1 pixel, you'll miss and lose your ball. Oh, good, there's actually consequences for poor gameplay instead of just, there's a reason that I like the Pokemon gameplay, but there's also a reason that I kind of fell off, because it is simplistic. And if this is a little bit more action-oriented without actually sacrificing any of the tactics that made Pokemon its gameplay so successful, I am down for this. This article is really selling me on this. Now, make sure you aim that ball, yeah, precisely, otherwise you'll lose it. This is especially frustrating in the early game because of all the work that it takes to make the suckers in the first place. Okay, yeah, just glossing over the rest of the gameplay. There's crafting mechanics, and it's like, yeah, okay, I could bore everybody to death, but let's get into the controversy, shall we? And that's it. I have 2 hours in the game across PC and Game Pass. Xbox version is vastly inferior to PC. Oh, okay, yeah, frame drops, okay, texture pop-ins, visual glitches. Xbox version doesn't have dedicated servers. Ooh, that's kind of ass, which means multiplayer games are limited up to 4 players and not like 32 on Steam, according to a report from IGN. Palworld developers Pocket Pair is working on it. Well, yeah, if they have any kind of deal with Game Pass, then yeah, Microsoft's likely going to be up their ass, given the fact that they have access to the most popular game on earth right now, and shit ain't working on their platform. Yeah, they're gonna be a little tight about that. It feels like I've got a decent understanding of what the game's offering. Catch pals, build stuff. The game's novelty combined with its dissonant and edgy tone might be enough to hold players' attention for the first 20 hours, but like I said, I've seen as, at least, you know, in my subscription feed, total what over the first couple of days, north of like 30-40 hours. The guy went on a tear, I think it was Sunday or something like that, playing north of 11.5 hours in one single sitting, and then just a few hours before that another 8. Like, he's been tearing through that stuff. As opposed to Starfield, well, you know, hey man, Microsoft can't win them all. And there's all the controversy. Yes, multiple outlets and people on social media have pointed out the similarities between Palworld, Pals, and Pokemon. Well, Christ almighty, there's over 1,000, which is wild to think. Like the original 151. Now we're, what, 20, well, I guess, yeah, like 20 years on, and there's over 1,000 Pokemon now. Of course, if you're going to be working from a relatively small group of characters and base models, there's likely to be some overlap, okay? But we got, you know, this guy right here. I'm the exact opposite of a Nintendo stan or an Arc wild card stan. I don't know what that means. Oh, but seeing Palworld make tens of millions of dollars. Yeah, here we go. All the jealous commies. The most blatantly creative bankrupt, poorly put together asset flip game is so depressing. Oh my god. The entire company strategy seems to be theft. Oh my god, well, what are you talking about here? Edgy McEdgy. No, freelance editor. Oh yeah, okay. He works for Totally Not Mark. I used to like his anime breakdowns, but then he just got too, feel like, and it's like, just shut up and do some analysis, you freak. But okay, so you got a sheep. The first one up in the corner, I don't, maybe like the ears, but the body type and the arms are, that's different enough. That rabbit, okay, other than, yeah, maybe a palette shift a little bit, but the headdress is different. You know, the necklace is a little bit off. So yeah, don't really see it right there, but yeah, okay, right around the knees. Like some of the design choices, and I know that, you know, Pokemon is definitely fallen off when it comes to certain things, but yeah, he's close-ish. And then you got, okay, that little dog right there that's supposed to be a 1-to-1, but there's like a little bird on the back there, and the tail's totally different. But okay, what, the jagged fur on what looks to be a husky, I guess. That one right there, that doesn't look too dissimilar, to be completely honest. But a black dog, like the ears are different, the eyes are, the coloring is different. Like none of these, like, I don't know. I think that's what, Magunium. Like that was the Gen 2 grass starter. Gen 2 starters were ass. I don't need all you Cyndaquil Simps in my comment section trying to be like, no, it was good. And it's like, no, they all sucked. And Totodile is ass anyways, bro. But yeah, that's, I don't even know what to say right there. Okay, what, they're both green dragons that have flowers. Okay, cool. That dog and that cloud dog, that's pretty close. Like, you can obviously see inspiration that's right here, but to say that that's just blatant theft, like, okay, maybe that one down there at the bottom, you might have something. The fact that you got a Firefox like that, but it is also Firefox even after saying that. So yeah, you could pull inspiration from other things as well. And then, okay, cool. So you got the UI of, yeah, one of the more famous survival games, Ark, and then Palworld. And it's like, okay, Palworld one looks like, what, a level up screen? And the other one is, what, an inventory screen? Okay, what, you own the license on UI design choices? It's kind of interesting. And then, okay, what do we have here that makes, I don't know what you're supposed to be comparing to right here, other than, hey, take a look at one of my favorite games. Theft might be a bit of a stretch, my guy. Yeah, 1X user, BioFrog, created a video showing models of PAL superimposed over Pokemon with models lining up perfectly. Yeah, okay. Well, I won't doubt it. There's some shit that, if you take a look at what's been going on in the comic book industry and the amount of tracing that goes on over the top, shit happens a lot, okay? It's definitely one of those, taking a test and then somebody just leans over and, tries to copy some of your work. But it's ostensibly different stuff. Like, they're making enough changes over the top of it that accusation, other than just, playful banter and then just a couple of really, goofs that are bent out of shape, it's not really sticking. But another one that's getting thrown out there and that I'm seeing way too much and is really starting to piss me off when it comes to entertainment in general is the whole AI complaint. And here, shout out Master of the TDS for compiling this stuff. Palworld, an action-adventure survival game created by Japanese developer Pocket Pair, has made waves since its launch on January 19th, 2024. Many people were excited to play the game, given the company has sold over 5 million copies, and currently has the highest concurrent player count of any paid game in the history of Steam, huh? That's crazy. Well, many people enjoyed the wacky Pokemon-like game. Some people found reasons other than the gameplay to criticize it. After the company's past games and tweets seem to imply the possibility of the game using AI art. Yeah, that's weird because Pocket Pair used AI art in previous games, but there's nothing concrete, and I think it's also being attributed over to this game as well. Or they used it before, that means they're going to be using it now, and at the end of the day, who actually cares? It's AI art. It's a tool. It's like, that shitty art can be drawn by shitty artists too, and it has been. Again, I will go ahead and harken back to the comic book industry over the past 10-15 years. It's been absolute ass for the most part. But if the only thing that you have, and there's been so many models that you can say are what, either lifted from Pokemon or, oh my god, it's just AI. I don't think your tacit praise of AI is accomplishing what you hope it would, but okay, that's interesting. Screaming that if you support this game, you hate artists, is that that the game is stealing from Nintendo. Yes, won't somebody please defend my giant corporation? Like, look at all these freaks that are out there, okay? And it never, ever ceases to amaze me. The amount of round heads and anime avatars that are out there. I don't know why people like Palworld. It looks like utter shit. Like, I don't know, games, you used to just put fun first, and even graphics. Like the games, I'll just be an old head for a second, but games when they were at their zenith, that was back in the Super Nintendo days. Pixel art was king and still is for a vast majority. But fuck Palworld, fuck plagiarism, fuck NFT, fuck AI. It's like somebody's really getting bent out of shape. But if you're also showing off some of your quote-unquote artwork, I can see why you'd be so mad if a machine is outperforming you. Sucks to suck, I guess. Oh yeah, pronouns and bios, trans flags that are over there. Yeah, that totally makes sense, man. But is it the next Hogwarts Legacy? I don't know. It sure as fuck seems like it's going to be a hell of a lot more popular. Perhaps it'll have more staying power, but we're going to have to see over the weekend. I kind of hope so. And to be completely honest, reading that article and checking out the amount of insufferable hacks online that are spurting out about it is really making me want to play this game. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.